Look at this mess, man. How am I supposed to sit? Stupid city.
This is indeed a disturbing universe.
Hello, greetings, and welcome. Hang on.
A few minutes later.
Hello, greetings, and welcome. Welcome to the Stereo 999 YouTube channel. I'm your host, the artist formerly known as Stereo Steve. And for this episode, I am going to do the 15 questions and Martin the Martian's summer vinyl tag, because I like answering questions. It's fun. So he's got 15 questions related to records and summertime. And you know, a lot of times with these surveys, there's two kinds of questions. There's always two kinds of questions. There's opinion questions, what's your favorite, blah, blah, blah. And there's factoid questions. And there's plenty of both in this quiz. So let me just get on. Your question number one. Your most recent heater.
Lieutenant Hadley, check the language banks and find out what a heater is.
And I guess what he means by heater is a record that is fire, that is incendiary. Most recent one that you bought. Okay, well, this is the crust punk band Misery, and this record is called The Early Years, because it's all early tracks from late 80s, early 90s that were on 7-inch singles. And as you can see, the price was marked down to an offer I couldn't refuse. And you know, the world is treating me bad, misery. You know, born, fed, slaughtered, falling of darkness, wealth and power, children of war, pain and suffering. And yeah, it's heavy. It's heavy, and it's got some riffs. And it's just got that crust punk, just fuck it all kind of vibe. And like I said, you know, during these times of recrudescence, you know, more angry music is needed in the Steve soundtrack. So that's my most recent heater, because I got this maybe a week, 2 weeks ago. Question 2. A record that will melt your face off. Alright, I decided to just Captain Obvious this one. Peter Gabriel's third self-titled solo album after leaving Genesis from 1980. And this is essential. Intruder, I Don't Remember, Games Without Frontiers, Biko. And hey, it melted his face off. Why would you, a mere listener, think that you are above that? This record will melt your face off. Yeah. Cheap Heat record. Okay. Cheap Heat. Noble Records has done a few videos about Cheap Heat. And it's basically a record that is musically good, but it's not like a big money record. So it's like a musically great record that will not cost an arm and a leg to buy. That you could find it like in the bargain bins or whatever, and you won't be disappointed. And that goes for pretty much every Robin Trower record. You can find these for like $5, you know, maybe $10 if they're mint. And they're always jamming, rocking records. This is for Earth Below. Of course, Robin Trower, former lead guitarist of Procol Harum, and he split off and formed a power trio. You know, if you like Hendrix and Cream, if you like groovy music, then yeah, just grab whatever Robin Trower record falls under your radar. Question 4. Two-piece swimsuit. Show a record by a two-member band. Okay. And this is my beautiful OG copy of Contact by the Silver Apples. Dan Taylor with the flower shirt on drums, and Simeon on banjo and electronic contraptions from like 1968, maybe the first electronic duo. This is their second album on Cap Records, and they got in some trouble for this album cover. This is supposed to be like a product endorsement for Pan Am Airlines, but the cover implies that these Cheech and Chong looking dudes are getting high and flying the plane, and then you turn it around and the plane is crashed and they're like whoop-a-doop-a-doop and just sitting playing the banjo. Oh well. And Pan Am didn't think that was a good look for them, so they got in some shaving cream over this album cover. But this is a great album. Water, You and I, Fantasies, yeah, Pox on You. This is brilliant psychedelic electronic. This is also a record that'll melt your face off. All right. This is going to be an unusual answer to this question, but I just decided to dig into my own memories instead of doing the cliche. And this is your summer road trip soundtrack. And many years ago, I was on a road trip with my brother, and I had all these mixtapes that I had playing in the truck while we were cruising around to different campsites and stuff like that. But there was one memory of driving on a windy mountain road with De Futura, the song that takes up the entire second side of this Magma album, while twisting and turning these high mountain roads on a hot day with just and yeah, had to be there. But yeah, Magma, the band that sings in their own made-up language, cornerstones of insane progressive rock with a little jazzy influence. Magma, voodoo voodoo. If you never heard any Magma, this is a good one to start with. Question 6. Your most recent carboot or yard sale find. Now, carboot is what they call a garage sale. And honestly, it's been a while. I mean, it's been years since I've been to a garage sale that even had records. You know, usually it's household items and clothes. Yeah, I haven't gotten anything really good at a garage sale in a while. But I remembered that years and years ago, I got my copy of Rainbow Rising from a garage sale. So I'm going to show this for that question. Ronnie James Dio, Richie Blackmore, Tarot Woman, and Stargazer. Yeah. This is one of the best Rainbow albums. This is usually what people start with. All right. Question 7. Here Comes the Sun. Show a record with the sun on the cover. Okay. This is Todd Rundgren's Utopia with the album Ra, which means the sun, you know, sun, Ra. Ra is the sun god. And this is one of the early Todd Rundgren's Utopia albums where they're trying to cram 30-minute long prog rock epics onto a usually holds only 20 minutes album side. And the music is very dense and complex. And for those of you old school San Francisco people, that's a 9th Avenue used record shop price tag on that. Yeah, okay. Here Comes the Sun. Okay, that's question 7. So that means we're halfway through this. Question 8. Campfire album. So I guess you're sitting around the campfire with your acoustic guitar. So it's show an acoustic album. Okay. So for this question, I'm going to show Basket of Light by the Pentangle. Pentangle being the English folk rock with genius guitarists Bert Jansch and John Renborn. And this is probably my favorite album of theirs. It's got Light Flight, the Train Song, Sally Go Round the Roses. And it says, all the instruments played on this album are acoustic. I was very impressed by that because it has a very full sound. And white label promo. Yeah. All right. Question number 9. Number 9. In the summer of '69. Show a record released in 1969. Okay, I'm going to go Captain Obvious, no-brainer with this question as well. And show the Stooges, Iggy and the Stooges debut album on Elektra, because it contains the song 1969. Okay? The Perfect Summer Bod. Show a record that is perfect from start to finish. That is question 10. And like I said last week about me going down a Discogs rabbit hole, and that there's a bunch of stuff in the mail that I'll talk about when it all arrives. Well, this is where the Discogs rabbit hole started. With this record, Go For Your Guns by the Isley Brothers. I just realized that this album is on my mind. I'm like humming songs from this album to myself all the time. And why the hell do I not own it? I mean, I do own a few other Isley Brothers. But yeah, this one has some songs. This one has some songs that are really important in my canon. The Pride Part 1 and 2, that's just a hard, funky groove. Always gets me motivated. Footsteps in the Dark is the song that Ice Cube sampled for It Was a Good Day. Voyage to Atlantis. Living in the Life / Go For Your Guns. Another just stone groove, you know. And this takes me back to a time when I was like 13 years old and the world was not as complicated. Or the world was complicated, but it was not insuperable. But yeah. That's a record perfect from start to finish. Okay. Summer of Love. What record are you in love with at the moment? Okay. And I am going to show this. Because this is another one that's like connected to the past that I've recently become reacquainted with. This is Eternally Yours, the second album by The Saints. The great Australian proto-punk band. And I'm Stranded is their first album. Now, this is the second album, has some great songs. Know Your Product and This Perfect Day, I Misunderstood, International Robots. And it's just jam-packed with good tunes. And I had this when I was in high school, when I was first getting into the kind of underground, punky, new wavy kind of music. And I loaned it to somebody, and I never got it back. And I can't believe it took me this long to find another copy of it, just out in the wild. Especially since that one copy I got back then was really cheap. And this one was a little more than I wanted to pay. But I am super happy to have this record in my collection again. So that's my question 11, Summer of Love. Alright. Question 12, Summer of Love again. Recommend another channel. I'm going to throw it right back to Martin. To Martin's vinyl, Martin the Martian. He has some good taste in heavy rock, and he's got a cool perspective. As an American, I dig his English perspective on stuff. So yeah, check out his channel. I'll put a link to his video that started this whole questionnaire. And question 13 is Summer of Love Part 3. Recommend an album you think everyone will enjoy. Okay, and this is another Discogs thing that just came in recently. This is I Never Loved a Man the Way I Love You by Aretha Franklin. I had the greatest hits. I didn't think I needed anything else, but I was wrong. Because this is just a solid record. You know, the deep cuts are deep. And the hit songs rock. There's some rockin' songs, Good Times, Dr. Feelgood, Save Me. Of course, the classic Respect. Then there's Drown in My Own Tears, Baby, Baby, Baby. Change Is Gonna Come. And this is like an OG monocopy that still has the shrink wrap on it. And this was a really good deal. But yeah, You put this record on, everyone will enjoy it. Okay. All right, we're getting there. 2 more questions. Question 14. We're all going on a summer's holiday. Okay, and this requires a little bit of translation. When they say holiday, they mean, in American, that's vacation. Here in America, holidays are Christmas and Easter, and vacation is when you go away for a while. But what was a record that I grabbed while I was on vacation? You know, since I don't have a life and I just do nothing most of the time, vacations don't really count. But again, years ago, I was on a vacation. I was staying with some friends up in Portland and checking out the record stores, and I actually found a record that I was obsessed with and listening to online a bunch, and I found a physical copy of it. This is T2, It'll All Work Out in Boomland. Great heavy psychedelic English rock band. The originals were on Decca. This is a Karma reissue. But this record's awesome. In Circles is the jam. It's just an amazing song. No More White Horses is epic. The 20-minute long Morning, also epic. 3-piece band, long hair.
Oh yeah, that's just fine. Come on, boys. Just one more time.
Hey, Steve, I think you got one more question.
Oh, you're right, Mr. Gopher. That was 14 questions, and I got the last question, question number 15. The most overshadowed album. That's question number 15, and I guess what they mean is an album, a great album that is not as famous as other album, as in, you know. So like an artist that has like a big, huge album, and then there's other albums that are also great that don't get as much attention. All right, well, this man has many, 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 many albums. This is Big Fun by Miles Davis. And this came out in 1974. Some of it recorded in 74, some of it recorded in 1969. And this is one of my favorite of the psychedelic fusion-y Miles Davis albums. But it's overshadowed by Bitches Brew, by On the Corner, by In a Silent Way, maybe even by Kinda Blue. But it is overshadowed, and it is just as great as any of the Miles Davis albums that people talk about all the time in this community. Great Expectations, Go Ahead John, Lonely Fire. Yeah. Okay then. Stop. 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 Stop.
Your Audi is fond of music and owns many records.